Hey guys, Shauna the Tax Goddess here. Today I want to talk about, I'm going to call it this infamous pay zero in taxes trust. I've got a huge smile on my face because this comes up over and over and over again. Shauna, I heard about this trust that I can put everything in, my house, my assets, my business, my cars, absolutely everything, and pay zero tax for the rest of my life. Did you see the eye roll? So here's the long story short, okay? When you hear somebody say, I've got the magic silver bullet, okay, and it's going to get rid of all of your taxes all in one strategy, all in one thing, because you can definitely get to zero. You guys know, we get clients to zero all the time, but it's through a combination of 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 strategies, not one magic bullet strategy, okay? So this whole irrevocable trust, pay zero taxes for life. Listen, you will pay zero taxes. So this is highly false and misleading, guys. Okay, you pay zero taxes, which is great. The trust, if you have any kind of significant assets, money, anything like that is going through this trust, the trust is going to pay 37%. And one of my biggest problems with this whole idea of like, let's just dump everything into an irrevocable trust for tax purposes. Okay, we're going to get some of the benefits of an irrevocable trust because there's absolutely benefits to that. But one of my biggest problems is people get this marketing thing in their head. It's 0% tax for you, sure, but what about the trust? So if your tax bracket was 35% and you put everything into the trust and now it's the higher, trusts are typically a higher tax bracket, now it's 37% at the trust, you didn't save any money, you cost a bunch of money, right? You added taxes, you had the fees to set the thing up. So this whole irrevocable trust pay 0% tax, shoot me. Not true, don't fall for it, okay? It always makes me throw my hands up and I want to throttle somebody here, okay? So let me back up. There is no single magic bullet for income taxes, okay? Irrevocables trusts they're going to pay max of 37% in 2025, okay? Your beneficiaries are going to pay the tax. So you may not pay it, but your beneficiaries certainly will. There are some specific grantor trust rules that even though the trust, you no longer own the assets, the trust still owns the assets. And if you didn't do it right, it may still all roll back into your estate. So they're very complex. There's very specific. You don't do one of these things where you're paying $1,000 to get an irrevocable trust. You're going to have problems down the road. Okay. So, I love irrevocable trusts, but they are a tool in the big overarching toolkit. Okay. Irrevocable trusts can positive help with estate tax reduction. So if you're if you're a single person, you're over about 15 million, irrevocable trusts can be super useful. And we like to use them all the time in those cases, okay? They give great asset protection. So if you have an asset that has some legal liability or some issues, you've got creditors, there's lawsuits coming, an irrevocable trust is fantastic for that. Okay. There are some look back periods. It can help you with long-term care costs like Medicaid look backs, but you really have to kind of look at the timing on that kind of thing. You can, of course, avoid probate, which is what happens if you die with no trust of any kind. So an irrevocable trust can do that, but so can a living trust, a revocable trust. Okay. So you don't need an irrevocable trust for estate tax purposes in all cases. Okay. You can do generation skipping taxes and income. So if your kids are annoying, but your grandkids are super cute, you can do generation skipping things and get your assets over your children to the next generation down. So that's a positive use of the irrevocable trusts. And of course, you can do some income shifting, but you do want to take a look at, well, if your tax rate's 35, and the trust is going to be 37, you would not roll it over to the trust. We would work with, side note, the majority of tax strategies do not work with an irrevocable trust. So we would look at using all the other tax strategies. Like we look at about 1,800 tax strategies for every single client case. You would look at all of those strategies to reduce your tax rate from your 35 down to 6, right? Our average is 6.92% for our clients. You'd be looking to bring down your tax rate using strategies before you ever really generally look at an irrevocable trust. Okay. So bottom line on legitimacy here, guys, if somebody tells you, oh, I have this great trust and you're going to pay 0% taxes on that trust, stop, full on stop. Call your tax strategist. You've got a buddy who happens to know how to do this kind of stuff. Okay. So reach out to us at taxgoddess.com. Let's make sure that you're not in a scheme and that you're actually in a valid, real, legitimate, irrevocable trust, and that it's the right tool for you. Okay. So sorry guys, this one I'm feeling a little ranty on, okay, because a client just asked us about it this morning and I'm sitting here going, no. So your best friend, your tax goddess, is telling you, at least pick up the phone, make a call, see if the irrevocable trust is really what you need, or if you're really just looking for other tax strategies to minimize your taxation. Because these, on the individual side, on your active business side, on your real estate side, there are 1,000,001 ways to skin this tax cat, right? And let's work on the legitimate stuff rather than going with the marketing $0 skinny type stuff, okay? Because I do not want you getting in trouble with the IRS. That would be very bad. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, you know where to find us. Reach out to us at taxgoddess.com. You can send in questions, and please give me more fodder like this 0% irrevocable trust thing, because I would love to rip to shreds or tell you that it's amazing and yes, you should use it. If that's really true. So send us questions and we'll get you answers. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.